content that they want to consume. Okay. So that's really one of the things. And I don't know, I know the strategy works on Twitter. It works on Facebook. It works on, it's a little harder on Instagram, but you can definitely carry a conversation through, but where you're pointing people to the other platforms. But this is where any of those social media platforms you can actually have a conversation on. All right. So Facebook and Twitter are definitely some of the bigger ones. Obviously, you can do that on your on your live streaming apps. And I was on a blab on Friday. Yeah, I was on a blab on Friday with Anna Scheller, and what she had said. No, it wasn't Friday. I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday. Boy, this has been like a couple weirdo days here. Where one of the guests, their whole business, almost their entire business is on live streaming. Imagine that, having your entire business on live streaming, where this is where you interact, this is where you invite, this is how. I mean, it's like going to networking events without leaving your home, and that's why, honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why I love this. I love this platform. I love it because people get to see you, you get to interact, people get to hop on, and the way you do it is by clicking. If you're on the app, I think you just click on the little owl, the little icon, and it'll say, ask you, it'll then pop up for me. It's like, hey, do you want to join? And a lot of people, I would say this: get over your fear of being available online. In the same way that if you've ever done sales, and kind of like your first time doing sales, you're like, you mean I have to talk to somebody? Right? Or the first time you do a video, you're like, oh, what are people going to think about the mess in the background? Now, obviously you want to be appropriate, but what you want to really do is you want to connect. And sometimes people seeing the mess is the way that people know that you're real. Okay. But one of the things I really wanted to share with you guys right now is we were doing this, we were talking about bringing the awareness, bringing them to that influencer step. And that's a really big step that we do. Okay. And a lot of people try to use ads on the very, very, very front end just to fill the funnel full of, their sales funnel full of as many people as they possibly can. And they're going to play the numbers. And that's not a bad strategy if you have money. Okay. If you have money, you just pour and you just dump into your, into your sales efforts, into your campaigns, into your ad budgets. That's one thing, but a lot of people, they don't have that. And so what I subscribe to this methodology of it's more interactive, it's way more organic, but I think oftentimes what we find is that the relationships are actually much deeper, and so that we're already gaining that know, like, and trust factor. That a lot of people, they don't get until until like about 5 levels down, or until people are at that action step. So here's my perspective on this. With your brand awareness, it's something you're going to be consistently doing. It's something that the message itself doesn't change, and so that you're able to be more consistent over a longer period of time, because all you're trying to do then is just show people, hey, this is how we're going to do it. This is what I do, or this is a service I provide, or this is the product that I'm offering. Here's why it's really great. And all you're trying to do is it's kind of like the title on a blog. All you're trying to do is just get somebody to be involved, to catch somebody's eye long enough for them to go, oh, okay, well, let's see what this is. And they click and they start to read the intro. And honestly, that's where a lot of people, I think they think that's all that they need to do. They just needed somebody just to click on the website. And it's absolutely not true, because if you just stop there, then you're not allowing for engagement to happen. You're not allowing for a conversation, for a relationship to be formed, because all you guys are doing when people do that, and I mean, I'm guilty of it too. This is how I started. I did it the wrong way so many times. I was going like, I'm asking myself the question, why aren't people joining me? Like, why aren't people buying from me? Why aren't people asking me questions? It's because I'm not leading them enough. I wasn't being the leader that people needed or expected or wanted to find. Nobody. I mean, I wrote a blog article a while back, and it was the idea was it's like, hey, having a good idea is no longer enough in this business world. In the online business world, it's not good enough just to have an idea anymore. It could be a really great idea, but without proper without implementing the ideas to be able to share it, to be able to make it worthwhile, guys, you really are just talking to nobody. Even though it's a great idea, this could be life changing. But if nobody knows about it and you don't engage people, unfortunately, we're in the market right now in the online world that it doesn't matter. People, just because you have a great text, headline doesn't mean, and people click on it, doesn't mean that now all of a sudden, hey, you went from headline to sale. It doesn't work like that. That's why I'm telling you guys, if you take that step where you talk about the awareness, where you're sending out your message, you're telling people that you're there, and once they're in, now you need to bring them from the awareness aspect down to the to that influencer aspect. Okay, this influencer, this is where people stop, they listen to what you're saying, they think about it. Okay, and it's kind of like this. It's here's a good example. Okay, create whatever, I don't even know what the title of this blab was. Okay, I tried to start one. Let's just say it was, creating content you just can't, that people just can't ignore. Okay, they click on that, and now they're involved. Now, for example, we have 11 people here. Okay, you're taking it from the headline to where people have clicked on, and now they're involved because now they're being influenced, because they're here, they're listening. And I would even challenge people, that anybody that's on here, do you guys want, I always challenge people, especially within the blab, is to encourage people too. It's like, hey, would somebody join me? Would somebody like to hop online and actually now have a conversation? And that's taking them from the listening mode, the being influenced, down into the taking action step. Yep, all medias have lifestyle. Banner ads is a great example. Worked at first, and then people started to associate with Addy, and then, oh yeah, they get less. I've never done an ad. I've never done a banner ad on somebody else's site. Like, I have banners on my own, but they're to my own products, and that's really, they're meant to look kind of organic or as part of the site, not at like not like an AdWords. Banner ads are so 90s. It's so true. It really is. It really is. No, for example, I mean, we have 17 viewers, but 11 of them are here. I love to see those ratios. In all honesty, I don't really care if I have have 45, 55, and I've had those on Blab. I've had it where we've had 50 people in the room. At least I think it was 50. It was like 50 people in the room, but I think we had overall, over like a 3.5 hour Blab, it was like 146 people. But so many people stayed on, and it was so good to have the interaction. Now, right? So for you guys, how many of you guys feel that you're stuck creating content that your audience actually wants to consume? It's a hard thing at first until you start to get to know your audience, and that it is a trial and error. And so that's what. But if you use that those 3 steps where you talk about the awareness, influence, and then action, you will start to know exactly who your audience is, because they're going to be the ones that go from the, yeah, I saw your ad, to they click on it. And then once they click on it, maybe they comment or they come back. So you guys have to be thinking about, what's a measurable way that I can find that somebody's going to participate and be there and then come back, right? So, I'm telling you, the best way that I've always found is to be consistent. Now, for the most part, I try to be as consistent as I can showing up here. I am stuck, but I know my audience. Explain that. Okay. Not really stuck just in the planning stages. Okay. So a really good, I think a really good way of getting yourself, quote unquote, unstuck would be to start putting yourself in your audience shoes. Okay. Find out what's the problem that they have and what's the solution that you can offer. Okay. And I think I've talked about this before. And it goes without saying, as far as, don't just be a voice, provide an answer. Because anybody can talk, but if you're not actually providing value in the solutions that you offer, so it's like, so if you're really stuck in, and I said, well, just be consistent, and you show up every day, but every day you show up in like your sweatpants and you don't really talk about anything, and you're just sitting here like drinking coffee, going, hey guys, would somebody join me? Hey, would somebody, in your screens like this, and you're going around, it's so distracting that people don't want to engage you. And I've seen it. I've seen Blabs. I've seen Periscopes like that. And I love Periscope. I'll defend Periscope every day, right? But if you hop on Periscope and you have nothing to say, no value to add, especially within a business, then don't expect people to stay. People won't join. People won't, because you're not providing an answer to the problem that they have. Okay? So that would be my first thing, is that what what solutions are you providing for their answers? I mean, for the problems that they have. Maybe they're not even aware of the problem. Okay. Sometimes business owners are too busy. They don't want to have to ask the questions. They just want people to answer them. And that's a really good example of ways that you need to engage your audience without them saying, "Hey, I need your help with this." When Periscope, Ember Studios, when Periscope was new, you could literally be on camera and do nothing, have a small audience. No, it doesn't work anymore. And Blab will go that way. Right now, Blab is still very new. And I resisted for almost a month before getting on Blab. In some ways, I'm kind of sorry I did. Now, granted, I mean, if we applied this model to everything, you'd be on like every platform all the time, hoping that one of them would hit big. I don't do that. Pick one, but be really good at it. Like honestly, like I have a Meerkat, but I'm not on Meerkat. Maybe I need to change that as one of the live streaming avenues that I need to be on. But I don't want to decrease doing something else well just to add something on there. Are you with Empower Network? I know about it. I do have affiliateship. That's not one that it's one of the opportunities that I think are out there. I think they provide a lot of really good, a lot of good content. As a matter of fact, I think they provide some really great content. But it's not the only thing. As a matter of fact, learning what I learned through Empower and a lot of those products. Wood hates me. That's okay. You know what? He's honest about it. If he does, I mean, I don't know. But that's what I appreciate about him. If he hates you, he hates you. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. But at least you know where you stand with it. It's not like a bunch of people that just kind of go, "Yay, how everybody," and they handshake around the room, and nobody's. I would rather have somebody know exactly where somebody stands, where I can actually have a real conversation with them, even if I disagree. Because just because I disagree with somebody doesn't mean that I hate them in those terms, right? But anyway, so that's one of the things. Now, hey, would anybody? I see we have 11 people in the room. Would anybody like to hop on? Would anybody dare to hop on and have a conversation? Because you know what? I think that's one of the purposes of having Blab. Otherwise, I'm just doing a Periscope. So does anybody have any questions? What about spreading yourself too thin across multiple platforms? Dan Davis, I think that's right. Dan Davis. Sorry, shaving. I should have shaved this morning, but I didn't. Okay, no, that's a really good question. What about spreading yourself across too many platforms? That is a struggle that I think a lot of newer entrepreneurs, newer business owners, newer social media marketers, they struggle with because they want to know where to go. Where do we spread our message? Now, I'm okay with spreading. No makeup yet. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't do my hair or my makeup today, but I did get my coffee in. Okay, so here's a really good example. Okay, so here's a really good example. Okay, so we're talking about how to not spread yourself too thin. This is where I tell everybody that anybody that I work with, the first question I ask is, one, do you know who you are? Do you know what your message is? Because you don't want to get on a platform without a message, because then all of a sudden you're adding noise. And I just suggest you guys don't do that. Have a message before, and it doesn't take long. As a matter of fact, you can, I think that's like day one on my blogging bootcamp. It's day one. You can do this, and I try to lay it out in such a straightforward manner. I do have a blog. You can go over to jonathantripp.com. But if you want to know a little bit and do some more of like my resources, go to bit.ly/RL registration. It's capital R, capital L, RL registration. Okay, and I think I did change the. I'm pretty sure I changed the link in my bio. But if you go to my website, jonathantripp.com, scroll down. It literally says free blogging bootcamp. Go there. It's a free resource. This what I'm talking about as far as I call it finding your why, but it's getting your message. It's day number one. There's a blog about it. I've got a slide presentation for you guys to literally try to walk you guys step through step. Through this. And it's super important to be able to do this. So when people are just starting out, this is what I tell them. I said, one, find your message. If you don't get one, get your message, okay? One of the opportunities that I'm involved with that I actually think, thanks, Daily Fast Blog. Thank you. That's awesome. Now, guys, I will be honest, I'm on my iPad. Normally, I'm able to click on people's comments, and I can like. I'm afraid to do that on the iPad. I'm afraid I'm going to like X out and end the blab or whatever. But I will go back through. I will follow you guys. Lee, if you guys want me to follow you guys, if you guys are blabbers, then great, do it. If you guys need some help, let me know. Connect with me. Say, John, I need some help. The other day, somebody was like, how do I use Periscope in my business? And they're a realtor. I hopped on Skype with them, and we had like a 10-minute, 15-minute conversation. We kind of brainstormed some ideas on how to do that. How does, and how was she able to use Periscope, not just to like show apartments, but to extend her brand? And it was a fun time. I had a great time being able to help somebody. But okay, so back to it. So have a message. Then I asked the people the next question, which is, what platform are you already on? Because some people are like trying to be on everything all at the same time. Guys, get really good at one. So if you're on Facebook, be really good on Facebook. I still have to interview you, but we've had a lot of problems in Roseburg. Okay, yeah, Roseburg, Oregon. But when the dust settles, I'd love to. Absolutely, just reach out to me. We'll figure this out. I'm here in New England until like Wednesday. So I'm driving back next Wednesday. So next Wednesday I'll be offline. But yeah, we'll find out. You're a Sox fan. That's right. Normally I have my Sox hat on when I'm on vacation. But so anyway, I say, guys, what platform are you on? If you're on Facebook, be on Facebook. Be really good on Facebook. Figure it out. Learn how to engage people. Learn how to run a successful fan page. As a matter of fact, this is going to be a challenge for me. I'm actually thinking about starting a blogging foundation boot camp, a group. Okay, it's for everybody that has been in the blog, has gone through our blog, through or anybody that signed up for our boot camp, our blogging boot camp. I'm really toying around with the idea of being able to open this up just for those people, a group that we can maybe share our own blogs, we can ask questions. All right. If you go to one of his sites and read his blog post at the end of the link is to see what he uses. Yeah. And I, like I said, are there other blog, like Shay was saying, if you guys want to know, go to my website, click on one of the links. If you guys want to learn how to really be able to do this, if you want it all already done, guys, sign up. That's the best thing I can say, guys. Sign up, go all in. You guys would be surprised. People maybe they've heard of Empower and they're like, oh, I know all about. No, you really don't. The depth of their resources, they have really put a lot of time, and they have changed the way a lot of people are using and teaching about social media. I use their blogging platform as an example to show how something very simple can be used in a very easy way. It's all done for me, and that's one of the reasons why I do it. It saves time. Now I'm not going back and forth with a coder. I don't have to go through all this extensive like web design things. I can literally change things on the fly. And I really like to teach people how to be able to do that. But one of the things that I like to do on live stream is I just provide value. I try to provide. You guys have questions? That's the fun part. Well, you're a designer, and that's the thing. But I will share this in the sense that, Shane, not everybody's a designer. Not everybody has the time or has the is the ability, and it doesn't mean that you can't, right? And this is a really good point on social media. Not everybody can afford to be on social media all the time. Not everybody has the time to put in for live streaming, and not everybody has time to design their website. But you guys here right now, you guys are able to do that. So I would just say this, as you guys have, how do you decide what social media platform? Go where your audience is. Start where you're at, develop an audience, and then go follow them. Start making an audience. So, let me ask you this, guys. How many of you guys on here are on Facebook? Sorry, I'm jiggling the camera around. It's like the iPad sitting on my lap. How many of you guys, if you guys are on, how many of you guys are actually on right now listening? You guys are just like here. Give me some props if you guys are. If you're on, give me some props while I sip some coffee and get some. Because I see 8 people here. Okay, good. Awesome. Oh yeah, guys, blab or periscoping tip number 1. It's not even like have a stand or anything like this. You know what it is? Get some water. Have something on hand to be able to, if you're talking, so you don't go into a coughing fit, so you're able to sip. Okay. So here's the thing, right? How many of you guys are now? How many of you guys are actually on Facebook and use it for your business? Or if you're on it, I bring coffee. How many of you guys are on Facebook? You guys are on. This guy's right. This guy's right. Okay, Facebook. Yes, yes, good. I see. That's 3. How many you guys are on Facebook? Good. Good. Okay, good. So how many of you? And this was my experience, right? When I was on Facebook, when I started an opportunity, like the first time I ever was like online, I thought that all I needed was to just post on my Facebook wall. I was wrong. Okay, there are certain ways to do it that get you better exposure. And the reason why I say you're absolutely wrong, if you think that just posting on your Facebook page is the best way to go. Well, here's the problem. One, if you have a business and you post very consistently and promote your business so much through your own Facebook profile, your personal profile, you can actually lose some of the legal protections that having like an LLC and things like that. You can actually lose some of those protections by using your own personal posting directly to your personal profile. I never knew that. I never even thought of that, but it's true. So if you have your own LLC and you provide services and et cetera and products and things like that, and you're posting directly to your Facebook wall, you're promoting that specific product or service, you do on some occasions you open yourself up to loss of legal protection. But if you have a fan page, if you have a business fan page and you post to that and then share from the fan page to your personal profile, you're protected because all you're doing is sharing content. Okay, in the same way that, like, let's just say I hate to say this, like Subway. Subway has had a huge PR problem in the last 6 to 8, 10, 6 to 8 months, right? Just because you shared a Subway post with that guy on there doesn't mean that you lose legal protection because you're just simply sharing their content. Now, if you're on there promoting directly, it's like, hey, this guy, he's doing everything great. I love this. I love being involved in this. I know everything he's doing. All of a sudden now, you're really opening yourself up to a huge legal problem. And that's a really good example of something you don't know within your product or within your service, especially if it's affiliate, that if you need to provide yourself with a little bit of protection. I didn't know that. I just knew that Facebook doesn't like it when you post your business stuff on your personal account. Something worth exploring and sharing. It's good. Now, I'm going to say this. There is a difference between when you are using a product and you talk about it, like, hey, this is my personal experience. That's one thing. But when you get on there posting directly to, and you're like, guys, you have to use this product. This is the best product ever. And there's no other product this stuff will cure cancer. And this makes everybody's lives happier. And this makes you walk on water. And I guarantee you're going to make $1 million just by buying my $1 product. Facebook hates that stuff. And honestly, I do too. I hate that. I hate seeing that because it gives everybody online a bad name. It's a bad way to market. So don't say that stuff. Don't promote. Don't. I was on this blab. We talked about sales mastery, and she, the host Anna, she asked me. She's like, John, you know a little bit about Facebook. If somebody was getting started on Facebook, what would you suggest that they do to get started? I said, well, this is the way. This is what you should do. You should post a lot. Post as many times in the day as you can. Post the same stuff all the time. Make outrageous claims, and friend everybody and chat everybody all the time. And her face, she was like this. She couldn't believe I was saying this, and I said, absolutely not. I said, I'm just joking. I said, this is actually do everything the opposite of that. You don't post the same stuff that everybody's posting. Don't make outrageous claims, guys. Because that's not marketing. That's called spamming. So don't do it. If you have a business opportunity, start a business page. I'm just telling you guys, play by the rules. You'll get much better traction. But you have to do it right, and you have to be consistent. You have to post good content. Okay. So start a fan page. Start posting to that fan page regularly. Okay. Go there. Interact. When people do a message, did you know that Facebook now is adding a metric to their fan page where what they're doing is that they're measuring the amount of time it takes you to respond to a message? Do you know that? It's amazing. So my new Facebook page, jonathantripp.com, and by the way, you guys can go over there and join me. I'd appreciate it. Okay, you get to actually, see some more of the stuff that I posted and how I interact and things like that. It has measured the amount of time that I spend, the amount of time from when somebody messages me to the amount of time that I respond. They measure that as a metric. Yes, it's cool, but if you use third-party app for responding to PM, right? I don't know. Facebook PMs on Facebook, it does not measure it. It does through your fan page, not through your personal profile, through the fan page. So if you guys go over to jonathantripp.com and you guys message me, it is sending a clicker and it's telling me, it's like, John, you have 100% response rate for under 3 minutes. Their ideal is that they want to see 5. Okay, but I run another fan page where it's like you have 100% response rate and your average time is 32 minutes. They're measuring it. They do. And it tells you guys that Facebook actually measures a lot more than what they tell you. Okay, their data mining goes way deeper than what they do, than what they tell you. So it's really important for you guys to, as you guys are using a social media tool, and I'm just going to go. I'm talking about Zendesk. Okay, we use Zendesk to respond to every Facebook, and it measures how we respond to posts or Facebook. Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying, but not PMs. Okay, so annoying. Oh, okay, so yeah, there's a good example of using a third-party app, right? And what the benefits, the pros, and the cons to it. Okay, so here's the thing, right? This is one of the reasons why I say pick a social media and get good at it. You don't have to be like the Zen guru of every aspect of Facebook marketing before you move on. No, but be really good at it. Provide good content. Provide good engagement in conversations. Take it a step farther than most people are willing to put in. And when you do that, you're going to get better. You're going to get better and better at the engagement, the conversation, and the response level. And like what we were talking about early on, where we talked about the brand awareness, taking it to influencers, and then finally taking it to the action, where people are having those conversations, and you can say, hey guys, what I want you to do is join me on my website, jonathantripp.com, and you give them a specific call to action. When you've taken everybody through those 3 steps, you have such a good quality lead, such a good quality conversation that people are willing to go over to your website. People are willing to sign up for your offer. Guys, and so when you use Facebook the right way, you're going to get really, really, really good content and interaction. Does anybody agree with me? Does anybody no, John, you're way out to lunch, or it's like, does anybody agree, or maybe does somebody disagree? I mean, I'd love to have a conversation about it because, yes and no. Okay. Doctor approved. Okay. Yeah, I think that when you have really good content, it provides. Okay, hold on here. Guys, forgive me. Yeah. There we go.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
It's my first time using Blab on my iPad.
Hey, Jonathan, are you a HubSpot person?
I don't. I go there, but I don't use them as often as a lot of people do. So
that's their strategy. I mean, pretty much.
Okay.
The template of their strategy. I don't think it's important to create content that they can't ignore. I think. Can you turn down your volume because it's echoing?
I'm trying to.
Just a little bit. It's
I'm on my headphones, so I don't know how.
It's coming through your speakers, though. It has to be. Oh, okay. I don't think it's important to create content that they can't ignore as much as to create content that you have a genuine passion for, because that is what cannot be ignored. I think connecting with people cannot be ignored. It draws attention, it invites participation, and it shows the authenticity of your message in the tone and in the context, essentially, that you're expressing yourself. The call to action is an invitation, and I think that it depends on the audience that you're trying to reach. If you need a call to action, I think a call to action is to get traffic to an intended destination. But if you're not dealing with that many people, I really think that the one-to-one interaction or a blab that people can participate is going to be less of trying to reach a mass audience, and it can be targeted to those individuals. Does that make sense? You're muted, I think, Jonathan. And I just froze.
It does, and I do hear you. Oh, I lost him. I hope I didn't. I don't think I kicked him off. I hope I didn't. I caught a good chunk of that. And I responded. Absolutely. Let me respond to that because I actually subscribe to a lot of the thoughts that what Eric was saying. In that, when I say create content they can't ignore, it's because it's with the understanding that you're creating something that you're passionate about. So for me, like, I love coffee. Now, granted, I don't have a coffee blog. I could probably do actually pretty well with it, right? Because I love coffee. I love doing it, but I also love social media. I love social media. I love teaching people about social media. I love talking about it. Okay, good. Edgar, I'm glad you're here. I don't know. You were kind of breaking up, so I caught most of what you were saying, but I want to make sure that I was listening too. I don't know if it was me or not.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Yeah, it was kind of like stopping, and then it was like catching up really fast. And I don't know if it's my iPad. Again, I haven't used my iPad yet to blab, so
it might be your connection, your internet connection.
Yeah.
The other thing is, though, when you do a title that says create content they can't ignore, that sounds like you're pushing content and it's the title I don't think represents what you're explaining now.
All right. Well, then I don't know how to change it on my iPad.
How about I think inviting people to be fulfilled through interaction, or creating fulfillment through interaction.
Yeah, and I think and there's I like what you're saying. That like HubSpot does this. Where they post like 26 times a day, like on their website or something like that. I mean, they produce massive amounts of. Now, granted, it's because they've got like a huge team. I don't have that option. I don't have a huge team of content producers.
Well, that's what their business is too.
Right.
I mean, so they're demonstrating the strategy.
Yeah. And as a personal brand,
it's different.
Yeah, and as a personal brand, I think create, like you were saying, and I really do subscribe to it. Talk about something you're passionate about. Talk about something that that will get kind of like that gets your juices flowing.
I almost think that some of the terminology with social media is jumping the shark a little bit. I don't care about my personal brand. I want to create fulfillment. If that means that people are interested in knowing who I am, that's fine. But my objective is not my brand. My objective is doing something that will inspire somebody else. That means I have to ask questions.
Sure.
And that's really missing, I think, in social media blabbing, where people are telling people what they need and aren't asking them what is fulfilling to them, what will nourish them, what will bring them satisfaction, because it's different all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're just trying to push our services or our brand, then we're not trying to help people. We're promoting ourselves. I don't want to promote myself.
Well, I guess it really depends, right? I mean, if you're a personal business coach, then that's your service. It's what you do,
No, it's not.
To an extent, right? I'm sorry. What was that, Finn?
Fahmy, what were you saying? You said something.
No.
I'm sorry?
But just listen to you.
Oh, okay. You know what? Can you mute yourself? Because I can hear you eating, and it's a little bit
distracting.
Distracting, yeah. I understand that.
Yeah,
Can you mute yourself? Can you mute the sound so that we can't hear you eating? Is that okay? Do you understand English?
Okay.
Okay, you can mute in your
Yeah, of course.
profile. You can mute the sound that you're giving off because I can hear you. Oh, good man. Thank you, buddy.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
So Eric, I understand, and this is kind of my perspective on this because I really do I really encourage people to be able to join. Yeah, it is what it is, right? To be able to join the marketing like world, but a lot of people they don't have. They're where are they going to start from, especially with people brand new? And I'm like, guys, find your passion. What are you really excited about? Like, what makes you go, this is amazing? Because I tend to find that people that they start faster, they're more consistent, and they stay longer when they join from their passion, when they're talking about something that they love, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to going, hi, this is my new product, and I want everybody to buy my product. I don't like that stuff.
Well, that's the whole thing about asking questions and qualifying up front what people want and providing a message that is relevant to something that's right in front of you as opposed to assuming what people are going to be interested in. I don't care. I think the branding stuff is going to and is not. It should take care of itself in the quality.
When you ask the right questions, I mean, yeah, like when I hop on here, I'm not like, oh, this is not about well, Blab completely less so. Maybe a little bit more about Periscope, depending on how you use it.
You know what? I've never even looked at Periscope. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a different. It's live streaming, but it's very different. And I do it for a lot more for like informing, rather than the conversation like you and I are having, where I can go back and forth. Blab is. Periscope's a lot more like if I was just on here and then I see somebody talking, like on the bottom, like so. Play Parent Coach is saying Periscope is better than Blab. It really depends on your message. Like some people love Instagram. Instagram is better than Facebook. There are ways that it's better. I'll make the argument there are ways that it's better, but there are also ways that Facebook, man, I can do things on Facebook I can never do on Instagram. So it really depends on how you're going to use it. Now, as far as like the personal branding aspect of it, you're right. When you're doing it well, the branding takes care of itself. In that, live is the way to go, right? Yeah. I think that when I say like personal branding, it's that when you go to my Periscope, you know what you're going to get. You're not going to get me going on there going like, hey guys, for 4 payments of $19.95, you're going to be able to do this. And then the next thing I'm doing is like walking my dog. And then after that, I'm doing like, I'm singing or I'm like I'm playing music. Guys, you kind of know what you're going to get when you hop on my Periscope. And it's just the consistency because like what you were saying is like I ask the question, but I just do it to myself and I say, what does my audience want?
But you can't know what your audience want if you're asking yourself. You can only assume.
Well, but see, that's the thing. It's like I go when I first started out.
But what it becomes, Jonathan, is an infomercial.
Well, on Periscope, it does.
Right.
And that's why I only use it in a certain aspect. And I drive traffic from my Periscope of people that want to know, like they're interested in a topic, right? I basically it's like a live vlog, and then I take that Periscope and we come over here to Blab, and then we have another type of discussion where it's a little more interactive, rather than just me presenting my ideas and then guys take it or leave it, tough luck, right? Which is sometimes how Periscopes come across, and I don't like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I don't see the social media services industry the same that a lot of people see it. I don't see. I see a few things that offer value, and a lot that is very redundant. That's me. For some people, it's imperative. Some people are. I think it's who you're connecting with, and the volume of people. I don't have an interest. I'm not selling something, but I do have a message. I want people to challenge themselves more, and I want people to ask questions that are that they may never have an answer for, but that that are important in their lives and in other people's lives. I want to extend a message that we need to work together and stop pointing fingers of blame at those other people, because that's a way for us to not take responsibility for the problems that are occurring in our communities, in our families, in our personal lives. Mm-hmm. It's easy to blame other people. So that's what I'm trying to do.
So let me just ask you this, because I don't know you. I don't think I've ever seen you before today, or at least I know I haven't talked with you personally. Now, do you have a business?
I'm a recruiter, so I could use social media, and I'm not.
Okay, and yep.
But business or not, if you have a message that you are extending, it doesn't matter if you're selling something. You're providing a message. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it essentially is. In the same way that when, if you provide value, if you, I clicked something here. Sorry. Somehow my thumb clicked something on the screen. I'm going to try to get out of that. If you
provide value.
Okay. Yeah, if you provide, I was trying to get the screen. I couldn't see what the screen was. If you provide value, then I think what you're basically doing is that it's the same thing as selling if you do it the right way. Like if I just sell, like I said, if I come on here and I'm like, guys, pull out your credit card and for 4 payments of $19.95,
but that isn't. It's a false dichotomy, though. What you just did is I think it was a false dichotomy, because there's a soft sell. I think it's the intention. If your intention is for somebody to purchase something, no matter what, it's going to be different than if your intention is unconditional.
I think that what the intention is to have people engaged, for them to take action on whatever I'm going to use the word promoting, you're sharing. I think those are, I'm using
right, but
those
if there's
words
a cost
thing,
involved,
right?
If there's a cost involved to them, then it takes on a little bit of a different dynamic. And it's nuanced. Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And one of the other things I try to encourage people to do is to be really honest about what. So if you're a business, then be a business. Don't be on here being a business trying to act like you're like it's a social conversation. Like there's no big deal and we don't have any No, I mean, guys, if you're a business, be a business, but don't apologize for it. But at the same time, be respectful. Like this is not about like getting every dollar you can out of a customer. Sometimes it really is about adding value, sharing ideas, developing something, and businesses can promote social value too, as long as they're very genuine. Hey, Walter.
Hello.
I think it's Walter.
I'll draw.
Thank you for letting me in. Why you don't have to go? You leave because of me. Anyway, I there's something on my mind that I need to talk to someone about.
Okay, we'll see if this is a good place to do it. Sorry, I'm plugging my iPad in a little bit too.
No problem.
Hey, what's up?
Well,
what are you talking about?
Last night I did my first blog with someone intentionally as a co-host type of person. And he's a gentleman that's 83 years old that introduced me to Blab. So it seems almost backwards, like the young kids know this stuff and older people follow. But he's right up there, and he wrote a book and he got on Blab somehow, and then he introduced me to it afterwards in one of my Facebook pages or whatever. And he's a very nice man. I've spoken to him before, and there's a few things that I noticed, and that is not only him, but in general, when I'm on the Blabs, and I'm glad you're listening, is that people say they want to know your story. Now, I have 310,000 images on my art site. You almost went to a frown. And
no, I'm listening.
You're looking at the things in the corner, and that's one thing that's difficult to tell someone a story if they're distracted. So if we made a note over there, please hold off till after the story, then that might make sense, because what happens is my stories are longer than anyone can usually handle, because you have to talk to the child. Can't hear you. No,
they're all
sound.
just coming in. They're just trying to figure out. So I'm just going to mute myself so that I can actually hear your text.
Oh, okay. So what happened? Oh, thank you. So what happens is that if I start to tell a story and then something, you get interrupted by the text, or you get interrupted by someone coming in, or you get interrupted by whatever, asking me a question, but I don't get to tell the rest of the story, then, you know, it almost seems like, well, people don't really want to know the story. They're just using that as an excuse to listen to the story for a little bit and then go on and tell me what they want to sell me.
I can't get used to looking at the thing. Sorry.
Does that make sense?
I do see, and I do understand exactly what you're saying, because sometimes, you know, this is probably some of the difficulty of having like a live stream with other interactors, is that, you know, like at least for, you know, we have chats going on in the sidebar, you know, and we have, you know, we've got Lisa over here and Walter on, and I'm here.
Good morning, Lisa. Yeah.
Good morning.
You know, we have all these people on, and they all have their own stories. They all have their own things that they're talking about and doing. And it's somewhat of it's a skill. There's a skill involved in being able to, you know, have multiple things. But it's kind of like, you know, in a networking room where, you know, you're around and there's other people talking. You know, some people kind of come by and like they pat you on the shoulder. Hey, John, it's good to see you again. You know, and I just might go, hey, it's good to see you. And then, but I'm still engaged. And I think that's a certain skill that with live streaming, that you can still tell your story, but it requires you to, you know, to be able to have a certain amount of consistency, right? Like here, like Lisa's on, and I even said hi to Lisa. Hi, Lisa, it's good to see you.
How you doing? Good to see you.
So what are you thinking about?
Yeah, I was listening to you, sir, and I heard them talking about the different platforms, and really this fits perfectly because what you're talking about goes real well with Periscope. Because you can sit and talk and tell your entire story and will not be interrupted. You can turn off the comments so that they don't come down. You can just say, you can speak forever as long as you want.
Lisa, do you have headphones? Because we have feedback.
Can you hear me?
No, but feedback.
I just muted myself.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, that better?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I'm saying, you know, Periscope. You know about Periscope?
I heard about it. I made a quantum leap from Facebook to this.
Periscope sounds like it's for you.
Well, that's it seems that way, but the whole value of me being on with this other gentleman was that he had questions. I don't have a speech. I don't have a
I thought you said you wanted to tell your story, though. I was just talking about.
He asked me something about, and we got to a point where I was going to tell him that particular story because of what he asked me.
Uh-huh.
I don't have anything to tell anyone unless they're interested.
Look, whatever he asked you,
you
can just say that without somebody asking you. I mean, a story is whatever's in your life, and you can't tell me, as long as you've been here, that you don't have a whole bunch of them.
I have too many.
Exactly. That's all it is. That's all.
Unless you ask me something, I don't have anything to tell you, though.
No. Listen to me, though. Listen to what I said. You have a life that you've lived, right? You've had things that have happened in your life. All he did was ask you something to get you going, right? All you have to do is pull it out yourself without anybody asking. I mean, I could think of I'm 49. I could think of a whole bunch of stories. You know, I bet you can too. And there's always somebody who wants to hear it. And then what the thing is, when you're on Periscope and you do it, you just start talking and you just start doing it. And then people will be interested, especially if you're consistent. Like he said, you consistently come on, you say every day, I'm going to come on and talk. I want to meet people, whatever you're doing. And you just tell one of your stories, just start talking. And then people, if you want, will ask you questions. They'll bring stuff up and then you can answer when they type it. You know, or you cannot have it. You know what I'm saying? So that I think Periscope is something you should try. And then you can have a private conversation on Periscope with one person or however many people you want. You can just send it to them and then you can talk to them and they can ask you questions. You could practice.
No, Lisa, that's a really good point. That's a good way to use Periscope. Right. Because it's considerably more one-sided as opposed to like what Lisa, you and I are doing. You know, we're talking back and forth, and then Walter's, you know, he's able. Oh, okay, so you know, and we're able to have like it's a three-way conversation, like we're all standing together. Periscope, and I start with Periscope. Where with what I'm doing is that I'll have a topic, and I share my experience or what my thoughts are. And people are able to chat on it. You know, they might ask me a question like they do down below. It's like, hey, what about spreading yourself too thin on platforms, on too many social media platforms? And I'm able to, I read the text at the bottom and then I just respond, but I don't give other people a chance because it's Periscope, because you can't, that's not the way the platform's built.
Okay, now I have a story. Now that you told me that, both of you, the story is when I first became interested in becoming an assistant to a photographer. I had started when I was 8 years old photographing, and then around the age of 26, so from 8 to 26, I was on my own. I read an article by a photographer. His name was Philip Leonian, and he was very well known for repeated motion. In other words, if you had a tennis player and you saw the shot where you saw the tennis racket and all steps along the way, that he was very famous for that. Mm-hmm. But he wrote an article about, we had at that time, we were using film. We had Tri-X, Plus-X, and whatever it was, okay? And he wrote an article about, because of all these different choices, when you were kind of new to things, or in the beginning, it was better to take one type of film and to know that so well, and then move from that point. So what I'm going to do, since this is a platform that I was recommended and I came on, and it seems to be like a quantum leap from where I was, and Periscope and other things in between, this encompasses that as far as I could see, because I can make a blab and have just me in it. I don't have to have an open seat.
I was going to say that because you were worried about other people doing things. I was going to say that. I didn't think you were aware of that. So I was just saying that's their Periscope. Periscope sounds like it's for you because of what you were saying. But yeah, you can still do Blab, and you can still do some of the same things on Blab. But the challenge is that you pose on Blab.
Finish my story.
No, I'm sorry.
That's what I mean, though.
No, but I mean, this is a conversation here. That's why I'm saying that if you
I'm a long storyteller. Yeah, okay.
You just want to sit here and talk for 30 minutes or whatever, this isn't the platform for that, because you got unless you're going to cut it off and do it by yourself.
Okay.
There's other people here.
All right, so I got you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say this one point.
Okay.
That I want to use this and focus on it and learn all the different angles, the way that I learned with one film.
Hello, Sharon.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, you please continue, Alder.
What's up?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I didn't mean that.
I do have a question though about how did you get into MLM?
And I didn't mean. You talking to me?
Yes.
MLM.
You were in when it says over there on your thing.
I forgot. That stands for multi-level marketing, man. That covers everything, man.
Is that what you're doing?
That's kind of one of the things. One of the things that I'm focusing on now is MWR. I'm trying to help 10 people make $500 a month.
With what?
Well, if you go to lisamlong.com, it'll tell you everything. And you can also put in your information. I'll get back to you. That's what I won't pick off on here with this man's Blab. So you can go to lisamlong.com, and then you can look at there's a video there. lisamlong.com. There's a video there.
Yeah, I'm not that quick as everyone.
Okay, that's fine. I got you. You got it, Lisa.
Yeah. So
I'm just gonna give him.
Okay.
lisamlong.com.
Okay.
Go there and then just check out the video. You can put your information in, and there you go. All right, sorry guys.
Does it tell a story there?
Scott, excellent comment. Excellent comment. All right, Lisa, why don't you do this? Why don't you post your link? Okay, good. Is that lisamlong.com? Great.
All right.
Now, Walter, I'm going to suggest this. Yeah. If you want to use Blab, now Blab is going in a particular direction, okay, where they're opening the Blab up to podcasters. And this may be a really good opportunity for you to use Blab, where you lock the seat out. So it really is just you talking and sharing, and you can make a podcast basically out of it. But you're not using, I don't think if you do that, you're not using Blab in the way that they're really intending it to be. You're using it more like Periscope. Right. And it's okay, you can. in the same way that you can just post pictures on Facebook and never really engage. I mean, you can do that. It's not necessarily the way that it's supposed to be, or the fuller potential of it. And I also wanted to say is it Priyank?
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Oh, good. I'm awful at pronouncing names.
Dude, you're awful when you pronounce his name, and you're awful at pronouncing names. You did really good then.
Thanks. Yeah, I quite agree with Jonathan. But what I think the ultimate aim and the perspective why the Periscope is going on is quite different from the Blab. The Blab is particular to discuss particular things on some issue you want to talk about. But the Periscope is like something like which you want to express to, which you want to show to the world. Not as Blab. It has some different motto behind they got that particular thing. That's what I think.
And I'm going to say this, okay? Just so you know, sometimes it's probably my connection. It's kind of catching up, and then it slows down. So I think I got everything. I think I got like 99% of what you were saying.
Okay.
And if I understand, and I see the comments below too, that using Blab a particular way, the way that it's meant to be, is that what you're talking about? To create a discussion rather than a monologue? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
He threw the business in there.
But see, I understand also that.
I'm sorry, he threw the business. You missed. He said something about Periscope being something you want to show the world, and Blab being more about something that you want, a topic that you want to discuss.
Well, if they can't, or they intended to be used one way, then why do they have it that you can lock a seat? I mean, I don't think that it's really restricted.
Let me say, because I know what you were saying, and let me say, because I'm not going to be on here too much longer. He's not saying, he's on the phone, so it doesn't even matter. But I know I get what you were saying about it's not being restricted. It's just not using it to its fullest. Just like the example you used about Facebook. You can just sit there one thing for Facebook, and that's not wrong, and it's not being restricted, but it's just not using it to its fullest.
Well, there's another example I have, though, because Photoshop, I think, was intended for working on photographs, but now I've created 310,000 images with that. And I've learned that tool in such a way that that's more than any artist could do with a paint brushes and canvases up the kazoo. I've focused on that. I know that there's art programs and stuff, but I won't go to them because I know Photoshop is like inside of me. It's like throughout my whole being. Does that make sense? So I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this throughout me, all part of me. It's going to be like Photoshop is with my art. And so, thank you very much. I hope to see you all again sometime. I don't remember people's names, so please forgive me. I'll get your face.
Thank you for sharing.
Remember faces.
Well, good. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Walter.
And I'm going to look at your site right away. And can I tell you about my art site so I can share it with you? That's the only thing I have for free for you to get from me is my art. That's the only thing I got. Really, people say
a lot more than that, man. You got a whole lot more than that. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that might interest people.
You got a lot more that interests people. I like talking to older people that have some years on. I can ask you something.
I'm not old. I'm 8 years old in my mind.
Okay.
When I get behind the camera,
wise people, and you're wise.
Experienced, Lisa. That's why we have very experienced.
And I'm giving you the wisdom part too, because you're resourceful. You're still in here at your age, and that's so.
It's still in here.
Yeah, you're still looking good.
So look at me.
Yeah, he's still looking good.
My wife looks better, and she's older than me. But anyway, I want you to know that if you ever want to do one with me, Lisa.
I'd be honored.
So are you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
You can answer. You can take 20 minutes to answer.
Okay, that's good. That's what I want.
There you go.
Here is my link to my main website that you can connect with me on Facebook, and I have a fan page for my art with 13,200 people there. I typed it, but it didn't come up yet. Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Great.
Thank you. I don't want to take any more time, and I'll talk to my wife for a little while. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Hi, Lisa, Jonathan. I have one question. Do you have any idea about why Blab is not having an app for Android?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't stay on it, because I came on it when it first started, and the first day, and we got on it because I was on Periscope from like the beginning. We all came over and tried it. People were doing all-nighters, but my problem is I can't use it on my phone as easily as I can use Periscope.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I tried it. The speed, maybe it takes up so much more data or something. It's so hard to do. It's like, unless I'm in Wi-Fi, but I can Periscope easily on it, on my data and on the thing. So that's really what did it for me. So I think that might have a lot to do with it. I can just flip my phone on and put on the scope. I've done hundreds. I do a scope easily. It's so much effort and so much issues to try to do a Blab. You know, I can't, and that's why I did not. That's probably the problem a lot of people have. The fact that Periscope is so friendly to the phones.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, it's just been the kind of like the business plan that they'll launch it on iOS, because it's a very stable, it's a very constrictive, you know, platform, as opposed to like Android. It seems like, you know, you've got to come up with, it's from what I understand, and I'm not a developer, I am not a coder, I am not an app, you know, creator. From what I understand and from everything that I've heard is that it's just harder all the way around to develop a good Android app. So they start with iOS. Usually it's got a bigger, like, quicker pickup, and I mean, but
it's still, even when they introduce stuff to iOS to the on Periscope first, they still come right back soon on Android. They just have not done it.
Well, it's because they have not. Go ahead. Oh, as I say, I think they're going to come.
Why is it taking this long? And I think the reason it's taking this long is like his question back to people aren't pushing for it the same. It's just, or maybe no. You know what? I'm sorry.
It's a smaller audience.
The reason that it's taking so long is why it's not blowing up. You know, the reason that it's still not on Android, that we still have a problem on the phone, is why it's not blowing up. I understand the why.
Right. And
I know that everything they do first on iOS. And someone said that before, because I didn't know why that was. And somebody said the same thing you said, that Android has so many different platforms. You do one thing for iOS and it's easy to do. Android, you got all these different servers you have to deal with, so it's more difficult. But even then, they come out with some iOS and Periscope soon after they come out of Android, but they can't figure this Blab out.
Mm-hmm. Might be the case.
Yeah, I see Blab taking over a lot of the platforms. What do you think, Priyank?
Yeah, might be the case, but what I think, I just want to come your earlier topic, like you were comparing Periscope and Blab, but as what I see that when I joined to blab.im before, I think 1 to 2 months before, what I see that it is a complete different category than Periscope. I topic and particular topic.
Keep going. That's just your echo. Keep going. That's just your echo. Keep going. That's just. Stop talking. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He stopped talking. Maybe he can't see anybody.
I can't hear anymore.
Nobody was talking.
Yeah, it's some of it's really just junky.
Yeah, when the 4 people come in. Yeah, see, that's my problem. That's why his question was why and when I said Periscope is better, that's why, because it was all of me. It was all about connection. Yeah. It was much more convenient to get on Periscope. Not that I didn't think that.
Well, it's a lot less data.
Yeah, not that I didn't like Blab, or I didn't really spend enough time to dislike it. You know, I just came back to try it again because people on Periscope keep saying, "Do you Blab? You need to try Blab. You need to go on Blab." So I tried the other day, and today, when I came, but I worked. But I want to say one more thing. He was talking about, he's gone now, but the question he was trying to say about using something some way and it's meant to be used another way. Both of these things. There's no one way. There's no way. There's options. You told them that there's more options. You cannot use all the options if you want, right? That's the point I get. But to the bigger point, it's like even what they put out and say do. You can still do other things. Like the guy on Periscope, he developed a split screen. Did you see that? Yeah, split screen on Periscope. Mm-hmm. He did that somehow. He has a teacher. Did either y'all see that?
No,
I have seen it where it's right. They kind of like third party hack it in. Right?
Like you call him and then I came in on the middle of the scope and then I didn't watch it, but he has a how-to on, and you can look at it and see how he did it. But he had people calling in. You call, and then he put them on the other side of his screen, and they were both on at the same time. Periscope didn't develop it for that. Mm-hmm. They didn't want you to do that. He found, so there's, you can find out, because he said something about doing something with images. You can find all type of ways to, to hack and do things, I guess. But
yeah. Yeah. And Lisa, I kind of talked to that point. To some extent, and a lot of people that I end up reaching and that I talk to are a lot more of like helping new and struggling entrepreneurs and things like that. And I always tell people to use the platforms, particularly when you're starting out, but use the platforms in the way that they're meant. And what I mean by that is that trying to have a live streaming a conversation like what you and I are having on Instagram, you just can't do. So don't try to do that on a platform that it's not meant for. If you play to the strengths, of the platform, you're going to do so much better. And I always, and so that's what I really try to encourage people to do. And it doesn't mean and this is another thing I say, when you first hop on, imitate, then innovate. Okay. And it doesn't mean be a copycat. It's just like, if you see somebody doing something well, then you can do similar things to that. Where you're engaging your content, with your content, you're having good, longer conversations. You're able to do those things, but then you're going to hit a certain point where either you're going to get bored, people are, with it, or you're going to get bored with them, with you. But you need to hit that next level where then you're going to innovate with what you're doing and the way that you're using it. And that's where, I see what you're talking about as being a really cool thing. All right, guys.
What's up, John? What's up, Zeph? I'm new. I'm just getting into this. Yeah, I know y'all got communities and everybody knows everybody.
So sorry if I kind of go like this. If I start to stare off into space, it's probably because I can't hear you. So guys,
thank you.
Welcome both.
Thank you.
How you doing, Lisa?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Good. I'm glad.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, John. Hi, Jonathan, and hi, John. We have to differentiate that, right?
Is it so? It's Zeph?
Yes, it's Zeph. Yep. Absolutely.
So how long
I'm trying to make sure I can hear everybody here.
So I've been on Blab. I can't remember how long, but probably close to a month. But I haven't been on Blab regularly for the past couple of weeks because it's just been crazy, right? So we're all trying to be present and trying to be consistent. That's a challenge when you're trying to juggle 100 things on your plate, right?
Yeah.
But because I do a lot of live streaming and this is what I do for business, I've fallen in love with Blab day one. So I do get it. And I do agree creating content that they cannot just ignore is key these days, and trying to get the right traffic, the right people to kind of, be your tribe, right? Agree? So that's why this topic kind of got me really interested in going.
And how long you been blabbing? John?
Oh, hey, Lisa. This is actually my first time joining the conversation on Blab.
Oh, yay! That's big time. I'm so honored that you decided to do it here. That means something. You felt comfortable enough to come in here. That's that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm social by default. I connect heavy. And
so
everybody's
watching, decide to jump in, huh?
Yeah, it stalls and then you guys speed up. So
you're on audio only for me. This is where my issue sound about.
That's the best thing about live streaming, right? You just roll with the punches. It makes you on that spot. Just go.
Either of you on Periscope? Have y'all been on Periscope?
Yes.
Yes, I was on Periscope from day one, and I mentioned in the comments earlier that I think Blab is a better tool for creating dialogues versus a monologue, right? So Periscope puts you behind the camera and now you're broadcasting, but really, I think there's still a barrier or a disconnect to direct communication, even though you can get, tweets real time, but there's nothing like human to human, connection or communication to communicate thoughts in real time.
So how much do you Periscope, John? How much do you do shows or you just watch?
No. So I opted not to go full in on Periscope. So I do digital and social marketing consulting, and I sort of watched from afar as a user. I've definitely scoped a few times, but never moved into the next phase to implement it for business or promotional purposes.
So you promoted your business here? Well, you said it's your first time coming out.
So this is my first time. I do have a Blab coming up where I do a lot of millennial focus content, and one of my things for clients is helping marketers and employers connect more authentically with the millennial generation. So that's really what I'm going to do, is utilize it to further the discussion from either blog content or articles that are posted or published on other sites that I produce. And it's a video series called The 2-Minute Millennial, which sort of throws out these topics, and then we can be glad to discuss further. But,
all right, so let me say this, because Jonathan, when you were talking to the one gentleman by yourself, and I was feeling where you were going with it, I think we agree here, but just didn't say the same words. But I think it's all, but when you're talking about content and when you're expressing, it's all about your why. I learned this.
I have completely lost all.
And that's all you have for me is sound. I have audio and
we can hear you, Jonathan.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I know you guys can hear me, but I can't.
Oh, that's
right, if somebody is recording this, it is you. But I'm gonna say, because when I go off, then it'll be 3 people. You can probably come back. So it's all about your why, right? And that's what I learned in men. When you identify what your why is, that's your passion. That's what drives you, and you can always talk about that. You can always start with that and bring that into what you're doing. And when people understand your why and get behind it with you, that's the key. You know what I mean? I'm
a fellow Simon Sinek fan as well, so you're speaking my language, Lisa.
You say again, what fan?
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek.
There you go. All day long.
So John.
So that's what it is for me. So when you're talking about content, I mean, that's the best content of them all. And that goes with everything, because that's what you are. And that's what you.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and especially from a digital marketing or social marketing aspect, I think oftentimes people are flooding the market with content just for content's sake, right? And trying to build up, just this library of noise just to be relevant anymore. And it's a double-edged sword. So creating content without meaning, just adds to noise.
Good point.
And the more noise that we have, the harder it becomes for really good content to shine through. So I think it's.
Well, I don't agree. Well, you mean your own good content?
No, not even personally. I'm just saying in general, because now there's more content for people to have to sift through to get to what they actually need or want. So Zeph, you made a great point. It's about the tribe. It's about creating content that's relevant, that's at the right time, the right platform, with the right voice, the right identity. All of those things have to match to really resonate, I think, with your tribe or with your target audience.
And John, I remember hearing you say just now that you wanted to create a show for the millennials because you wanted to use this Blab to target your millennial audience, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is what I've been saying to many of in my speaking engagement, and also with my clients. It's just like the other social networks. Each and every other social network has its own language, right? The way you use it, your purpose of using it on Google+, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, they're all different. It's the same thing. When I started with live streaming, I started on Google Hangouts. And then of course, Google Hangouts has its perks and also the not so beautiful things, right? But we don't want to get there. But here's my point. I love Google Hangouts for very various reasons. And Blab has its own audience, and also Periscope. And when we talk about millennials these days, we talk about creating content for the millennials. They're all about the community. They're all about you have to be in front of their face, because otherwise you're not that content they want to plug into. So it's all about building that tribe. And building a tribe or your community online that supports you for whatever it is just truly awesome, because you get that face time. And I keep telling everybody, we all have this 0 to 10 seconds attention span, right? But what makes our audience stay with us for half an hour on Blab, 45 minutes on Blab. It's that content that you're creating that nobody can ignore. At the end of the day, it's going to be also you, your brand, right? What is it special about your content, the energy that you bring that makes you so special that they don't want the other content? You know, so I think you're right, John. There's so much information, there's so much noise. Now it's not only about content, but it also is about building that tribe, building that community will support you, will love you for everything. So, yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. How are you using Blab beyond the immediate conversation, right? So once the conversation's over, how do you then utilize that content to get people back into the conversation or even extend it beyond this platform?
The beauty I love about Blab, because, you know, it's all recorded. You can, you know, with social media, you need to repurpose everything, right? Yeah. So whether you put it on, so when I tell my clients, you know, you have, when going onto Blab, Periscope, Google Hangouts, just don't jump in just because everybody's on it, right? You have to go in with some sort of a strategy, back to the purpose, back to the why. So, you know, you have to have some sort of a strategy that you need to know. You have this content, you go in on Blab every day, Periscope, and every day, what are you going to do with that content? That's like information overload. And we're creating content so easily and conveniently these days. So we don't have to overthink about, oh my God, I have to write that blog, right? What do I say? Because a conversation can be the content for blog, Periscope, and Google Hangouts. The question is, how are we all repurposing this content? And what I normally do is either I put it up on the blog or just, you know, put an email campaign or newsletter. There's a lot of ways to do it, because this content is going to be evergreen and you can always repurpose. I think some people don't think about that. They just think, let me just go and just appear and hopefully people follow me. No, it doesn't work that way. You know, you want a community, you want a tribe. You have to be present at every corner of, you know, your business. So a great way that I've been using is repurposing. And then you can always bundle up your videos, your Blab content to really do special campaigns and create landing pages for all you know, for lead generation. That's what we call strategy. And if you don't have this and this is not part of your purpose, then this may not be the best platform for you.
Then what are you doing? Yes.
Exactly. Why are you here? You know? So I started live streaming because people have this hang up about, when you talk about video, they go like, I want video marketing, a video for my marketing, right? Okay, great. Then when you start talking about, okay, you got to edit, think about content, think about script, they go, how much am I spending again? You know, a lot, right? And then how many times do you repurpose this? Being on live streams, people are talking about being authentic, unscripted, right? Being present, and that's content. So, you know, creating content on the go.
He's back.
There he is.
You know what? You know what, guys? I think some people work themselves up trying to read a script, as you're saying, or trying to do what someone told them they were supposed to do, and it never works that way.
Nope.
It never works out, and it just gets them all in a bunch, and then they can't do things right that they knew how to do right already.
So when I started out live streaming, right, on Google Hangouts, so I have a weekly show called Creative Chat Cafe, which I will be changing it over to Blab. And sometimes I feel in that 30 minutes we have, because it's 30 minutes, I have to like kind of script it in, right? And then I always never, who knows who's gone through this, you never follow the script because you're always impromptu, right? And that's the best delivery of your content. So I think that being on a live stream platform like Blab has given each and every one of us that platform to be real and authentic and, you know, just deliver what you have to say, knowing your purpose. Like today, we're talking about content. Have a conversation about content. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have some bullet points or at least some guiding topics to run through, and then you let the magic happen of know, genuine conversation, which, you know, new ideas come out of it, new understandings. And, you know, I think it's interesting that this platform promotes that direct connection from people, complete strangers. Like we're vibing right now, and I just came in here 10 minutes ago. You just came in 10 minutes ago, and it's generating, you know, information that's viable for people who are watching. I wonder what's next for the platform, right? So you have direct connection or direct visibility to live people's thought generation now.
Yeah.
You know, how is that monetized? You know, what are the benefits now? Because we're giving a ton of information away for free right now, which is value. It's value add. How do you translate that value add, you know, into monetization?
I think what all the live streaming platforms have done for each and every one of us is being visible and also helping us elevate our influence and our credibility. Because what I know with me sometimes trying to figure out who I want to work with or coach with, right? Because all coaches need coaching, right? Sure. So one of the biggest things that live streaming has done for each and every one of us is to not only help our clients pre-qualify us, which is a huge thing, right? And also for us to pre-qualify collaborators and also pre-qualify the clients that we may want to take on, you know, because back in those days, you do the cold calls, right? And then you go through, I know, you go through 10 different emails. Hey, can we get in that coffee time? Hey, can we get that meeting, you know, that face-to-face? You're all wasting time, right? Yes. So if we are on Blab, if we invest a little bit, maybe 1 hour a day on some sort of a live streaming, you're being pre-qualified by your audience, right? Because these days, I know when I work with my interns and especially in HR, I tell you know why people in HR are doing video, because they don't have the time to go through resumes. They don't, you know, people may look pretty on resume, but once you get that on a video, you're trying to match them. You're like, I don't think so, right? So this helps to
that's an interesting
pre-qualify our audience, and you know, kind of elevates our credibility, because then we can't do any BS, right? Because you're like, if you're an expert in this, claim it and show it and tell it.
That's an interesting use. Imagine doing like live interviews for an open role in HR through Blab. That's
exactly.
That's very
interesting. I'm having goosebumps just saying that, because I think that's how, you know, LinkedIn got into the, okay, you can attach media in your LinkedIn profile because it's important, right? So these days, since I have a virtual internship program, which I started about 4 years ago when I started my company. And from the get-go, I had used Google Hangouts to kind of meet people. And sometimes people don't get it why I ask and require a video call. Because if you're on a conference call or a call, right, you can tell if somebody's veering off the conversation because the energy. But if you're on a video call, you have to be present. It's like in the room for an interview with them, right? So if you start scratching, you know, they're not paying attention. Or when they stick looking down, maybe they're on their phone. Who knows? But being present is important to build that tribe and that relationship with your community. So, hey, this is the way to go.
And you've just been followed.
Thank you. But yeah, it's changing the way we connect with one another, you know, how we build our community and tribe. Because like you said, John, you know, we live in such a social driven tech world, so noisy. Who do we follow? You know, who do we like? Who can we trust? Who do we want to work and collaborate with? And these live streaming platforms allow us to bring our energy and our, you know, our expertise in a very transparent kind of way. Yeah.
So how is this being measured, right? So how can we as blabbers measure the impact beyond, you know, whatever? Let's say we're getting leads that's off the platform. You know, you're getting the I guess the cosigns or the props on here, but how are we measuring impact?
When it comes down to go ahead. Go ahead.
Here, like I said, I start off earlier, left, just start coming back. One of the guys, I put up first Blab, and one of the guys came and said, it's not used for that. The Blab is not used for selling, he told me. It's not really monetized, is what he said. You know, and I can see if you're sharing it with someone, unless you put out and then you're going to promote yourself, I guess, and then you got to get people to come on and be with you to just promote you. Everybody, you know, so I guess maybe that's the issue. I don't know what it is, but that's one of the questions I asked him, and that was his answer. And he'd been here for all this time. He said it's a community, everybody belong, and you know, it's not really competition, because he said even these fields don't stay, whereas in Periscope they stay and they build them up. And I'm saying I just got in the middle of a feud over it almost in Periscope. You know, I refuse because I'm too old to be messing with that nonsense. But that stuff is going on over there. Yeah, it's going on over there. It's and some people are letting it really go to their head. They're like threatening people for hearts and everything.
Wow.
Hearts up or get out of my room type.
Yeah, exactly.
They want the instant gratification or that reward, right?
Yeah, and they found that those hearts are getting them status, and they believe that it really means something when really, it doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean,
that's a very interesting point, Lisa, because it really speaks to this whole influencer marketing and cult of influencers at this point, where everybody wants to become an influencer to attract bigger opportunities, right?
And the jealousy is off the chain, because we're jealous by nature as human beings. So then you have people that are all the way over to one side of it, and they're just losing their minds. It got really crazy. And so, but I was told that Blab doesn't have those issues, that everybody pretty much gets along, and that it's one big happy family.
Yeah, well, I think, and when you're in a direct conversation, it's going to get, you know when it's going south quick, right? You can read body language, you can hear the tone, all of these things. So you can opt to leave. You don't have to sit there unless you just like getting on social and live streaming.
Are you talking about Periscope now? Or
I'm talking about Blab, which is why it's free of all of the stuff that you're seeing.
But you can do the same thing for Periscope, even easier, because it's only one person. Just turn it off or stop looking at the person or turn yours off. You know what I mean?
Right, but if your intent is to get your hearts up, then you're going to stay.
You mean? Oh, yeah. See, but that's what I'm saying. So here, I guess since they're not, maybe that's something.
There's no incentive.
Yeah, maybe that's something that they took heed to, that they're not. You can't save these fills. You save those hearts. People have millions of them. Okay, they have millions. All right, and they want to get there. Is there people like when it first started, people would turn their scope on and go to sleep and leave it on.
Yeah. I mean, again, that comes down to having a purpose.
Right. That was simply just to be present and get.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Periscope. Periscope is a harsher platform where I think if you cannot capture your audience in the first 10, 20 seconds, they're going to switch you off, because there's a dozen of other scopers that have better titles, right? Maybe better personalities. It really is like live on air with Larry King, right?
Develop an audience. You can develop. No, you just have to be consistent.
Exactly.
You have to be consistent. But there's going to be the fly-ins and fly-outs. But if you're consistent, you'll get that same group, and your group will grow. That's what I've been doing. I got 1,000 followers now.
Right, and consistent, and also.
And I don't beg for. I don't have like. I started getting hearts. I never told them to give me hearts. People just start doing a little bit more now.
Exactly.
But I scope a lot, and I scope, and then, people follow. So it's just, if you're consistent, you can. But you're right. You can't just pop in every now and then and come week and get.
Keep content flowing. And that's to build any audience on any platform.
Yeah, but they want to go instead of, that's what I mean by the heart. So instead of building and instead of building an audience, a platform, some people were just trying to get hearts. So they would do stuff like sleep and stuff like that.
I wish Blab was around when the Mayweather Pacquiao fight was on. Because, well, I'll be completely honest. I was trying to watch it. I don't have cable. I haven't had cable since 2009.
Somebody had to be playing it on.
That was the point. So when I thought about it, I'm like, well, where else could I see it? And I went to Periscope. Guaranteed, there was like 10, and then it just blew up, and everybody was streaming it.
Right.
Just holding their phone up to the screen, and you could get different angles. You're in people's parties, their fight parties. It was amazing.
The mobility of it is what makes it really interesting, because you just take it with you and go. And now Blab.
That's what I'm saying. Why I did that instead of Blab. Blab was such. I got a digital computer. I tried the phone. You can kind of, but the data is just too much of a problem. I got flip Periscope. Boom. You're on.
I like what our guest Scott Gomba, who happens to be my friend too, he's here on the Blab, and he says here, when people just want, I think he's relating this to what we just said about people just wanting the hearts. So correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but Scott says that's all childish. Just bring engaging content. Sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss. He's absolutely right. You bring your content, your purpose, and roll with the punches, right? Because sometimes you'll have people, sometimes you don't, but you just need to be presenting and delivering, right? There you go. Scott says yes.
Yeah.
So, David, welcome. So you are on Blab for 61 days, I see. How are you using Blab for what you do or for your business or life or whatever?
That's a great question. Just like Periscope, I first started just by watching and joining people that I know from Periscope who did Blab, like Robert C. Stern and Danielle the VP, and just kind of watching what they're doing. And then I jumped in on somebody named Life Coach Michelle, and did like a free reading. And then we had kind of like it turned from like advice to one of our friends to like a whole out session of everybody just like kind of not like laying into each other, but really just exposing that layer of onion that you can't really do on Periscope, right? So it's so much more interactive. I love it. And me, I just like to contribute.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That happens.
Provides me an opportunity.
One of the biggest thing I think with Periscope with me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Because it's a new thing for me. I haven't done that. It's kind of like broadcasting almost.
That's true. If you have to, I was speaking at an event that I did this past Tuesday, and I talked about Periscope, being a game changer for the business and how people can make money from it. And I said you have to have the self-confidence to kind of go on Periscope, because if people don't get it, you're talking to your phone, and people go like, oh, what the heck are you doing, right? So you're gonna have to have that confidence and knowing that what your purpose is, because otherwise you probably won't do very well there. One of the things with the reason I prefer Blab is because I'm such a connector, and I need to see who am I talking to, because I relate that way, connect that way, right? Because I love the fact that Periscope, it's mobile, you can just bring it wherever, but I also like to see the people who I'm talking to, and that makes that eye connection. You can't beat that, right? Absolutely. Periscope has its purpose. It's why you can use it for various different things. Blab has a higher engagement and a higher connection level, I think, because you get to the eyes, right? You get eye contact.
I have two things I want to say. First thing is regarding all the hearts and all the jealousy. I think that if you can see what one person can accomplish, it should be fuel for you to say, hey, I'm just another person too. I can get there if I just keep going, right? Yes. So that's the thing, is in your head, like, you can't give up. And then I've seen people with 18 million hearts. They got 18 million hearts, but they were in a cast with 5, 6, 7 people, and they just kept talking as if they were in a cast with 1,000 people, and it doesn't matter. It's just they're being themselves, and that's the consistent thing, and that's what you're doing. Everything else in life too is you're consistently being yourself. So why should this be any different? And also, my second thing is what Blab is to me is a filter. Okay, so Periscope is a giant filter of society, of just people like us that are like, yeah, we'll get on that, and then this is an even.
Same with Google Hangouts. If you do, I think a Blab better to kind of just wire in your computer, because that would be like the best thing to do. Because it's just crazy because we're all doing Wi-Fi.
It's a bit of a weird process, I think, and kind of like it leaves us with people that we can really connect with at a much higher level.
I used to call Google Hangouts Skype on steroids. Now, when people don't know what the heck Blab is, I'll say, it's Periscope and Hangouts on steroids. They go like, what?
Let me ask you,
Skype.
Y'all have been around. Do celebrities get on here? Because celebrities get on Periscope all the time.
Yeah. They're starting.
The thing is that I don't really follow celebrities because the content is not relevant to me, I think, so because there's so much noise with like what you said, John, because there's so much noise, and I only have so much time in my life. So that content, we're talking about creating content they cannot just ignore. So I'm more driven when I get on Blab, Periscope, and Google Hangouts. I have a specific reason, purpose, why, right? I'm just not here because if I'm going to spend 1 hour, I need to get something out of it. This is how I feel, right?
Time is valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? The Blab was supposed to be for celebrities before it was for everyone else. They tested it with celebrities because
which platform was this?
They all knew each other, so they get on there.
Oh, Blab. Okay, right on. Oh wow.
Well, I think that Periscope is entertainment. You know, it can be business, but it's also entertainment. And so the celebrities are part of entertainment. You come, they let you into their world. You know, Dwight Howard scopes from the locker room. Right. And he'll have 1,000 people watching him. He'll sit there and talk to people and answer the question. I mean, I became a fan after he got on. I mean, he opened up his life to the world.
There you go.
Yep. People did all type of stuff. Yeah.
And Lisa, this is just a testament to Periscope. Like, I connected with Lisa earlier this morning.
That's what I did.
I asked her, I said, do you blab? And she said, sometimes. Like, yeah. And then, you know, we changed. I got her number from her website. I looked at her stuff. I texted her. I said, what's up? Let's chat. She said, I'm on Blab. I said, I'm going to jump on right now. And here I am. So, you know, it's like when you do a Periscope and you're done, if you want to continue, you say, hey, I'm going to continue this on Blab. It's just like what we're doing right now. I'm continuing a text message conversation.
Now, have you guys talked off of any platforms, did you?
First time. I met him literally this morning. He was on my scope.
So the cool thing,
this is my first right here.
Yeah, for me, it's interesting to see that flow, right? So it started digitally. You reached out via text, which is a more direct connection, and then you brought it back.
No. It started on Periscope, and then he went to my website. And then he texted me, and here we are. You know,
wow.
I mean, what I say, Periscope made the world smaller. The world is so small. When the guy scoped from Hong Kong, I was done. That was it. I got global friends. I know people literally all over the world, and I did some world traveling before I played ball. So I'm meeting people, you know. And when I start traveling again, I'm going to hit these people up. I'm serious. I'm telling you, I'm meeting all everybody in every. I can meet one person in every country on the continent, you know.
That's the beauty of it, you know, connecting beyond your geographic demographic.
So much far beyond. I mean, we're looking. This guy was walking through Hong Kong, getting on the bus. It's been several months since, now seeing a whole bunch of stuff since then. But this was the first one. It was like, and now when if you haven't been to Periscope, you open one side of the app and you can literally see the entire globe, a map of it, and it shows dots of where everybody is. So I go and travel the world. Let me go to over here. I go to Kazakhstan. So I have people from Kazakhstan, Russia, and all these places follow me because I go to their places and I join Periscopes.
So let me ask you, why Periscope and not Meerkat? Is Meerkat in the conversation anymore?
I never tried Meerkat, and I loaded it. I started Periscope first. Heard about Meerkat. Talking about
Me too.
I downloaded it, but I was all in the Periscope. I might have looked at it once. I didn't even give it a shot. I think Periscope is more Android friendly than Meerkat. I think Meerkat is more. I think somebody said iPhone friendly.
So it had nothing to do with Twitter branding.
That's probably what did it. I mean, the reason that I went to Twitter, I used my Twitter handle right to Periscope. You know, you want to use Twitter handle, bam. So
the same with. I'm the same with Lisa because I started with Periscope, and of course, you know, because I've been following Brian Fanzo, who iSocial Fans, who's pretty big on Meerkat. But here's where I did not jump on Meerkat. I do have a Meerkat account. I tested it out a little bit. Like Lisa said, you know, Periscope is a little bit more friendly, and I think because of the integration with it's owned by Twitter, right? And here's my point. Again, back to what you said, John. There's so much noise. There's so much information. There's so many platforms. I can only do so much, right? So instead of doing all, for me, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. Do it, test it out. You need to know if it's your thing, you know? So for me, I didn't want to take on more because I could probably vomit just like, you know, like there's so much stuff to do and I can only do so much, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I just kind of limited myself to the 3 things that I'm doing, which are Google Hangouts, Periscope, and Blab, because I know each of these platforms, they actually have different purposes and whys, you know, how you would use it and stuff like that. I just feel
I use Google.
Yeah, Google Hangouts are great for webinars because of the screen sharing and because of the production. It has a lot more production features because if you want to do a show that has more fun, like sound effects, captures, and all that stuff, you can do with Google Hangouts, right? But the hang up with Google Hangouts is people need a little bit of a tech person to be behind the scene, the producer, director, and go like, go, you speak, right? Then you. And then you, right? So it's almost like a production, but it's a convenient production because you can do it remotely. So that's the beauty of it. like I said, each platform has its own purpose. So that's why I didn't really get on Meerkat that much, because I didn't feel I could take on another thing. It's just like too much. So
what kind of? So you guys are, the experts here. This is my first Blab. What would you guys say is one of? Well, if you had one point to say about Blab and why it's so valuable to you now, what would it be?
Because of its reach, I think. Because of this high engagement, I think, because people could just jump in, the convenience, the simplicity, right? The mobility and the high engagement, like how you can connect with your community, and and the sharing is like the most important thing, I think, because you can follow, you can tell a little bird, right? That's like the social things that are important in every platform right now. Are there any ways for us to like immediately share or follow a person? Make it really easy, because if we have to find buttons and go like, wait, where do I follow John? Like where, right? You'll be like, oh, forget it, Sure. Yeah, we want the social features built in. So this is what Blab has. So I think that's the reason why we are coming to Blab and connect more with the community and people and having better engagements.
So reach and engagement for you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Lisa?
Well, I'm not the Blab one. Remember, I came on when it first started, and I kind of been on Periscope. I came back because people kept saying, come. And when he said it again, I sat down. Let me try this again, because it's like within these last couple of weeks, several people have said that to me. Yeah, you need it, because I'm on Periscope all the time.
So today's your first time back then?
I tried it a couple of days ago. I did have an interesting story. A couple of days ago I tried, but I didn't let it discourage me, because I know people are people. But I got blocked by these young guys on here when the last time I came.
Oh boy! But you came back, so there's got to be something for you.
Well, I'm not, like I said, I wasn't against it. My biggest issue was just the fact that Periscope is so much easier to use on my phone. I do so much on my phone, and this is not friendly, Android friendly, phone friendly.
They're not iPhone friendly either. So
they're not. The iPhone is better.
On Google Chrome, or are you on Safari?
But you on
Wi-Fi though, right?
Plus,
which app?
It's all gravy.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Yeah, I can. If I'm on Wi-Fi with the phone, then it's okay, but it's still not great. But the data is internet.
That's a killer. That's a killer. But David, you said that you're using it on your iPhone through which app? Which browser? No.
The Blab app, yeah. The iOS has a Blab app. Yeah, launched it. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's an app. See, maybe if we had an app, but we don't have an app.
Yep.
Yeah, but we don't have an app.
Oh well, that's of course.
Yeah, we got to go through the internet and try to.
And by the way, I found out about Meerkat through Grant Cardone, because he's the one that is the most popular person on Meerkat. But I knew about Grant Cardone through a friend that I met on Periscope, who ended up doing my business cards for me. I love Periscope. It's just met me. It's gave me the opportunity to meet so many amazing people, and then just to follow up with it with a platform like this that came out with perfect timing. I think that.
Uh-oh.
You know what? When people start hitting the fill button, that's when it overrides.
Were you hosting this, Lisa, or was
Jonathan? The guy that was hosting got knocked out. One of them.
How you doing? I'm actually the host, folks.
He was the one. Okay.
Yeah. All right, and I have to go. All right. So the original topic is taking a turn to the left, of content. And I'd be glad to. Jonathan had a hard time getting on this morning, so I got on and brought him in, and we were co-hosts. He can't get back on, but I'm going to shut the recording down, and I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we've been recording.
I've been here since 9:30.
Wow, there's
where are you at? Eastern time zone?
Eastern time, and I went to a bottle of Gatorade, guys. So.
I'm very X because I was
That's awesome. Yeah, totally got it. Absolutely.
Thanks for hosting.
Thanks for hosting us.
So who would like to switch over? Zeph, I can make you the host and you can keep it rolling.
Sure, absolutely.
And I can jump out.
Yep, that'd be great.
Zeph, it's been a pleasure. I got to roll.
Likewise.
And thanks again, Ed, for the invitation.
Watch, by the time everybody leaves, nobody want to talk to me.
And now you have one viewer left.
I know, there you go. Now you have one viewer left.
It's not zero. It's not zero.
That's
you guys have a great day. Take care.
Bye. Thanks for jumping on, John.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Okay. Does it say you're the co-host now, Zeph?
Really? Co-host?
Does it say it?
No. Oh, yes. You'd be my co-host. Yes, duh. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
All right. And then I'm going to stop the recording now on my end for Jonathan.
How are you doing that, Ed? Because this is the first time me watching somebody do this, which is passing on from, the host to the co-host and making somebody a co-host.
I didn't know what would happen if both myself and Jonathan dropped out. So if I dropped out, I was afraid of you guys losing the whole lab session. So there, from when I found out, and I'm just finding this stuff out this morning, I could not do this switching the co-host information on my. You're seeing me on my iPad, but I have my laptop open. So these commands are only coming up on the laptop.
Got it.
Okay.
Got
Instead
it.
of through the app.
Right.
So because I'm using Chrome on a Apple device here. So I was able to do that, and it's pretty easy. It just point
it
and click.
Should pop up. Okay, cool.
But it was complicated trying to figure out that it's not done on the iPad.
Don't know how long I'm going to stay on here, but if anybody wants to take the seat, they'll be great, because otherwise I might just end this too.
Okay. Well, you have a good day.
Well, how about we just end it and we'll go it that way, because it'll be so much easier, because otherwise I'll be like, maybe I should go now too, because I have things to do. But you know what? Let's just end it. Okay. And everybody has, the link, because I do have work to do like everybody else, right? So get to work, everybody. Get focused and get